red pen to it.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, okay.
the red pen.
The red pen.
All right, Harrison, I'm gonna ask you a high and low. So while I'm saying mine,
Yeah,
think of yours.
I'll brainstorm.
Okay. I'll start with the low because I kind of have multiple highs. I can't decide yet. My low is I had to fill up my gas tank last week and it was $115.
Yikes.
And it was expensive. But the high I can't decide because I went to a concert on Saturday night again, number 3 of the summer. And I don't know. I really liked the band and it was a cool experience. And it was kind of like a smaller venue, so it was more like intimate in a sense. And then Sunday I went to the College World Series and I watched Texas lose. So that was good.
Was it like a close game at all?
No, Texas A&M blew them out of the water.
Oh, yikes.
So, but yeah, we stayed for the Texas A&M Texas game, and then we went and ate, and then we came back and we watched the Notre Dame Oklahoma game. And so this morning I got to practice, and my coach was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I was sitting out in the sun for 8 hours, and I just want to go to bed right now."
Yeah, that sounds really draining.
Yeah, but it was a fun time. I got to see my dad's cousin, which I don't think I've seen him since I was like 7 years old.
Oh,
because he's a huge Texas A&M fan, so he came to the game.
That's cool. That must have been like a really cool atmosphere.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I went to Omaha on Saturday, and even just driving through it and seeing everybody,
it's packed.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, yeah.
All right, Harrison.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my low, missed my haircut, so now it's getting like really shaggy.
So why'd you miss it?
I just completely slipped. I was hanging out and I was like, I got nothing to do today. That's awesome. And then I remembered like halfway through the day around 3 o'clock, and I was like, I had a haircut at noon. Completely missed that. That's all right. I'll find that. But my high is the same. Watching Texas lose, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You just can't root for those guys. You just even if we barely play them anymore, you just gotta root for those guys to lose because they're doing the same at home. So
well, I mean, my dad and my stepmom and my grandpa all went to Texas A&M, so I grew up on Texas A&M. So I grew up on hating Texas. And then we came here and they're like, "Yeah, we hate Texas too," and I was like, right "Nice." So, yeah.
So you haven't been to a College World Series game yet?
I have not.
Oh, it's an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never really been that big into baseball.
It's definitely an atmosphere thing, like especially in Omaha. Like there's a ton of baseball fans, so even if you're not following it very well, like just the atmosphere, you'll get into it regardless.
Yeah, I've been to a couple like Husker baseball games, and those are cool. It's just always the weather that gets me. I don't know. There's been games where I've been there and it's like 100 degrees and I'm dying of sweat, and then there's other games where it's like 40 degrees outside and I was not prepared and I'm sitting there in the cold. But yeah.
Oh, my tank top was probably a completely different color by the time I left the game. It was disgusting. Like we were sitting in the outfield and the sun was to our backs. Ooh. And like this, you could just feel the sunscreen like coming off. Like we were dripping. And like usually I'd like notice stuff like that, but like everybody was kind of in the same boat. So I was like, it's fine.
You guys are all suffering together.
Yeah.
For the sake of the game.
And the seats are like the metal seats. So they're like, hot feet.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know. I had fun. It was a good time.
That's good.
Yeah. So Madesyn.
Reagan.
I heard you had a meet coming up.
We do. We have the Capital City Classic this weekend. Super exciting. It's a club meet, so there will definitely be a wide range in age of kids, which is always fun to see. However, with that comes the copious number of heats for each event.
Oh, so it's gonna be a long day.
It's a long day. And I mean, last year they had like, I remember there being like over 20 heats for the 200 free. And so if you think 20 heats, and that's just like for the girls, not even counting the boys, which the boys always have like a fewer number of heats, but still like it was up there at like 12 or 13 heats.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, and including the weather with it being so hot, having to stay on top of just like being hydrated.
Hydration.
So Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited though. It'll be the first time putting on a tech suit and racing since last chance in February.
That was in February?
That was in February.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yep. So yeah. And then even just like racing long course too. I mean, I did that meet 2 weeks ago where it was just like splash and dash, but
yeah, but that was kind of just to like just to get out there and do your thing.
Yeah. Hopefully the water temperature will be a little warmer too.
Oh, it definitely is.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it is when we're practicing. So
yeah. And I mean that makes anything warmer than what it was last year will be a plus.
Last year at Woods, the heater went out in the pool. And so the water was 60 degrees.
That's tough.
And like the older kids were because over the summer the divers practice with like the club kids. And so the older kids and like the college girls were like, this is freezing. I am so cold. And then like the wind on top of it when you get out of the water, like it's no fun.
What's it normally at?
It's usually it usually gets heated up by the sun eventually. So it's usually around like I'd say like 75.
Yeah, 73, 75.
But like 2 degrees in a pool is a big difference.
Yeah. And
so like the little kids could only be in the water for 20 minutes because they have no meat on their bones. Like they can't. And like even like now, like there's a little 10-year-old, his name's Grant, and he's like this big around, like tiny. And so like I'm fine and like everybody else is fine, and he's sitting like there's a box that we have to put around like the stairs so people don't go up to the higher towers, and he hides in the box because the box like doesn't like it keeps out the wind out.
No.
And so he's like sitting there in the box. I'm like, Grant, it's your turn. And he's like, okay, I'll go. So, but the water temperature is better.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that'll be something to look forward to. But I mean, it's it gets us out of practicing because then we just race instead.
Yeah, but you're competing, so it's kind of like
it's kind of half and half. But I don't know. I'd rather compete than practice any day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, okay. But I do have a question for you.
What's
so
up?
Today during practice, I was swimming, doing my butterfly, and all of a sudden I hear all this cheering from the diving well.
Oh,
what was going on over there?
Okay, so I was up on 5 meter with one of the club kids. His name's Colin, and I was like, Colin, when was the last time you did this dive, buddy? And he's like, August. And I was like, what do you mean? I videoed you doing it like 2 months ago. And he was like, yeah, 2 months ago was August. And I was like, it is June, my guy. 2 months ago was April. And he was like, oh, okay, sorry. I got the first letter right. And I was like, okay. But he was like super scared and super nervous. And so he did one. And he was like, Landon, can I have a count and a call? And that just means like countdown, ready, 1, 2, 3, go. And then a call is like, hup. So he knows when to like kick out. And so the first one was super slow, but he did it. And so I walked up, or he came back up here, and I was like, I'm super proud of you, man. Like, you did it. And he was like, yeah, and I didn't die. And I'm like, you didn't die. Like, you're fine. And then the second one, he goes, and he absolutely shreds. Like, no splash whatsoever.
Okay.
And so that was the screaming. We were all like, oh, yeah, Colin! Whoa! Like, just going absolutely crazy. And, like, his smile went from, like, ear to ear. And, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's so cute.
Yeah.
So cute. It's funny, too, because, like, I heard the initial cheering, and then you guys go silent to wait for him to, like, come up to the surface.
Well, he swims to the bottom.
Oh,
Colin swims to the bottom and then comes back up. So we're like,
wait,
yeah! Yeah!
Waiting for him to jump back. He touches the bottom?
All of he's part of 3 brothers.
Okay.
So there are 3 brothers that dive, and all of them go to the bottom. It's just what they do.
I mean, I don't even think I've ever tried going down to the bottom. I don't think I'd make it down to the bottom, if I'm being honest. I'd probably like start freaking out because it just doesn't stop.
Yeah. I don't know. Sarah doesn't like going to the bottom either, so
okay.
She loses like, I don't know. She'll lose her chamois, like her chamois. I don't know. Have I told you what a chamois is before?
I have no idea what a chamois is.
Okay, a chamois is like the little rag that you see divers like wring out and dry themselves off. So like kind of like frog togs.
Okay, I don't know what that is either.
Like,
but I know what
like the
cooling
cooling wraps around your neck.
Oh, okay. I know
like
what those are.
It's kind of like that, but it like you just wring it out and it's like dry enough to where you can keep drying
drying
yourself.
off.
And so Sarah's chamois would go to the bottom, and she'd be like, "Can you get my chamois?" And I'm like, "You are 22, almost 23 years old. You can go to the bottom of the pool." And she's like, "It scares me."
Oh, Sarah.
So I'm like, "Fine."
That's funny.
But yeah, I have a question for you though.
Yes.
Have you ever competed while dehydrated, like outside? Because you talked about like being outside, like in it, just like being dehydrated in general. But like, have you competed dehydrated, and is there like a big difference?
I mean, there definitely is a big difference, but I don't think I would notice that I'm dehydrated until I swam and I saw that like I'm not swimming well.
Okay.
And then that's when I usually run through my checklist of things of like, okay, like what's going on? Something's usually out of place, out of routine, and then half the time it is because I haven't drank anything or even like eaten anything too.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. So yes, it does make a difference, especially practice. Like I can tell when I jump into the pool in the afternoon that I did not drink enough water when I ate lunch. Because like it just like everything just feels so sluggish, and like I can feel the lactic acid building up in me and not like going away essentially. So short answer, yes.
Okay.
Very much so. Can you?
I can't speak for everybody. I'm assuming like we're spinning. And so when I get dehydrated, I get dizzy. And so if I'm already dizzy and I'm spinning more, that doesn't sound like a good combination.
No, it does not.
But my dad actually was like, make sure you stay hydrated while I was at the College World Series, because I have really bad migraines. And a lot of it is caused by dehydration. And so I responded, I was like, don't worry, Dad, hydration is my middle name. Because I was just like, I had like liquid IV in my back pocket. Like I brought it to, when we went to dinner, I put it in my water. Like so yes, I can definitely feel a difference. But I haven't competed dehydrated since I was like 11, because that's when the migraines like started.
Okay.
And so I've just like gotten into the habit of like after every dive, take like 3 swigs of water and then like walk back to my, like it's just like a habit of mine to like always have a Gatorade and always have a water, and like I'll refill it because our meets are 3 hours long.
Right.
So I'll refill it multiple times during the meet. So I can't tell you if I could tell if I'm dehydrated during a competition, because I haven't felt it in like a decade.
Okay.
Wow, I'm old.
A decade.
Wow.
Okay.
So
then what's like your favorite thing to drink? I know you mentioned liquid IV, but like do you have anything else that you like to drink to like stay hydrated?
Do you know the new Gatorade like electrolyte bottles? There's like a strawberry kiwi one.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. But usually I just go with like the Glacier Freeze, because like that's my favorite.
That's blue one?
The light blue one.
Light blue one. Okay.
Usually it's just like the massive bottle, and I'm over here like chugging along.
Chugging along. Okay.
Do you have one?
I mean, I guess the only thing that I've tried is Drip Drop.
Yeah.
And my favorite, the fruit punch one, is pretty good.
Really?
Except one time I put like a whole, like one of the large packets in like a smaller water bottle that I had, and that did not sit well with my stomach, like even just one sip. So I definitely got to make sure it's in the right concentration, but
yeah,
it's pretty good flavors. It's like literally almost like you're drinking juice while you're working out.
Yeah. Well, our nutritionist sent us that text in the Discord this morning, and he's like, I know you're not practicing outside, but like even so, just like drink, there's Drip Drop at Oasis and stuff. And I was like, we are practicing outside. But then I went and got some, and there were like watermelon ones, and I was like, I don't know if I like that idea, because I don't know if I like the idea of like powdered watermelon tastes.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll try it out, and I'll let you know how.
Does that sound interesting to you?
I don't know what the difference would be. I don't know what
like a chalky watermelon taste.
Well, it's mixed up, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess I'm a big texture person, so maybe that affects me more than others.
But if it's all powder, right? What's the alternatives? Is there like different flavors?
There's different flavors. Yeah,
there's like tons. Like,
but like I still taste like it still tastes kind of chalky to me.
Just something that you notice specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I noticed that with like protein powder. Like I had to like almost like practice taking in protein powder. I don't know what it is about it, but like I don't know. I had to learn how to drink that stuff.
Yikes. I don't know. Like I like guacamole, but I can't have avocados because avocados are slimy. Or I can't have I can have bananas, but I have to like pick them off with my hands. I can't cut them because like the sliminess from I don't know. I'm a big texture person.
Okay. So then do you like mixing your food?
No.
No. Not at all?
At all.
Oh.
Like I'm not going to go completely AWOL if something touches another, like if they touch each other. But I'm not going to be the first person to like put like my dad, shout out dad, mashed potatoes, corn, and ketchup. Like he mixes those together and I'm like, no.
What? Okay, not gonna lie, that sounds pretty good. So like what about like burrito bowls?
I like burrito bowls.
So those can mix, but not other things.
If they're
can
intentionally
mix?
meant to mix, then I'm fine with it. But if it's like Brussels sprouts and mac and cheese, no.
What about broccoli and mac and cheese? That's a thing. Cheesy broccoli.
Okay. I think the cheese is fine, but like putting the pasta in it.
Okay. So it's very situational, but for the most part, Reagan does not like her food mixed together.
No.
Okay.
But I wouldn't call myself a picky eater because I eat a lot of food. It's just not together.
Okay.
Or a certain way.
Right. I was actually having this conversation with Caitlin Cairns about what defines a picky eater. Because like you could have food that you don't like, but does that make you a picky eater?
What do you think a picky eater is?
When like in my head, when I think of a picky eater, I think of someone that like if a food like they can't eat something that has hold on, I need to articulate my words. A picky eater is someone that cannot even touch something that's been like not prepared the way that they like it. Like there's absolutely no chance that they're eating it.
Okay. What do you think?
That's a tough one. I think they'll eat all their meals, but if they're a picky eater, they'll eat 50% of the meal someone else makes.
Okay.
I think that'd probably be a picky eater. That or if you're going to the grocery store and you gotta do like laps, zigzag, try to figure out like what you're gonna eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know. The first thing that pops into my mind is like ordering the exact same thing everywhere you go because you like don't like anything else except for the chicken tenders or like
the cheeseburgers
or like when you order a cheeseburger like at I don't know like a place like Honest Abe's or something and it has all the stuff on it and you're like I'll just have it like plain and dry. Like I dissociate that with a picky eater.
Yeah.
So if you don't like mushrooms or onions, are you a picky eater?
No.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think those are the two things you get asked, and then if you say no to those, people just assume you're a picky eater.
Really?
I think so. Well, I mean, that's probably just because my family likes mushrooms and onions on everything, and I just don't fly with those.
Okay.
Yeah. So they always call me a picky eater, and I was like, I eat everything else.
Yeah.
I'll go down the veggies, eat it all.
Yeah.
This is totally off the rails, but I like it. It's a good conversation.
I don't know. I just think about like the when you're little, like the people that just go through like bread and butter phases where that's all they eat, and then they grow up and they're like those people that have like they don't have the wide like they haven't tried everything, so they automatically say they don't like it.
Yes.
Like
yeah,
that kind of.
No, that's a good point.
They're docking it before they try it.
Yeah,
type of thing.
That is a good point.
Thanks. Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna head to break on that note. I'm Reagan Hinze with Madesyn Ronquillo on 93.7 The Ticket.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Gus brought up an interesting topic during Song of the Day about 2000s dad rock. We're trying to find some bands because he said Three Doors Down reminds him of like dad rock from the 2000s. Okay, Pork Chop says Papa Roach. That's dad rock. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's divorced dad rock.
Yeah. Buck Cherry also divorced dad rock.
That's divorced dad rock went to a younger model. Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. Springtime is here, and that means you're outside more in nice weather and maybe even having garage parties with neighbors. The drink of this spring and summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs and 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
The Ticket Water Cooler with Jake Bockelvin and Nathan Brennan.
Let's take it a step further. If Nebraska wins the division, that means they go to the Big Ten championship. They win the Big Ten championship, that means they go to the playoff. They go to the playoff, now we're cooking with gas. I don't agree with you. I don't know what to tell you. That's ridiculous.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back to the deep end with Reagan and Madesyn on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. We are back on the deep end at 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Reagan Hinze, joined with Madesyn Ronquillo. If you'd like to call in, we have the Honda of Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685, or we have the Starter Haven text line also at 402-464-5685. And if you'd like to see our beautiful faces, we are live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter Live. I was about to say Twitchter, and I was like, that's not a word. So got a little tongue tied for a second.
Yep, and then you guys do have something from the text line. Blake from Cortland says, picky eater, for example, if you go to Pepper Jack's and ask for seasoning, and if they put seasoning on your food by accident, or you ask for no seasoning, and they put seasoning on your food by accident, you make them dispose of it and remake your meal.
Dispose of it?
Yeah, like you just won't eat it, won't touch it. Like, get rid of it, give me a new one, because there's seasoning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I would
count that in the picky eater category.
Yeah. If like food is going to waste because you can't eat it, picky eater.
I agree.
Just in my opinion. Okay. But on a different note,
changing gears
a little bit. FINA released a statement, either it was today or yesterday, regarding the policy for transgender athletes within swimming, which has been a really big hot topic especially ever since
before NCs,
NCs, or more specifically when Leah Thomas started competing as a transgender woman. for what's college? Penn State.
UPenn.
Penn.
Ivy.
Oh, UPenn.
UPenn.
Otherwise, we would have seen her at Big Ten, and I would have remembered that. No, but yeah. So FINA came out with a statement, like it was very just like straightforward, and it basically stated that any transgender athlete that transitioned after the age of 12 will not be allowed to compete in the category that they transitioned to. So for example, for Leah Thomas specifically, that means that she will not be able to compete as a woman in any international stage. So that includes like the Worlds, which is going on right now, the Olympics, Pan-Pacific Championships, all that.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting because USA Swimming actually came out with a statement when everything was going on at NCAA's, and they didn't really put in any changes to their policy.
Yeah, or it wasn't it's not effective until this coming year.
I don't think it. I'm not sure if they put something or like an effective date, but I just remember people being very upset with the fact that they didn't actually address the problem, or they addressed the problem, but they didn't address how they were going to fix it, the solution.
Yeah.
But then with FINA coming out with this, it kind of sets, I kind of want to say like the precedent for what other federations are going to be doing, because FINA controls everything. I mean, like, even when it comes to USA swim meets, you have to be wearing a FINA approved swimsuit.
Yeah.
With like the QR code on the back. I don't know if it's actually a QR code, but it looks like it.
I'll try scanning it next time you wear it.
Okay, sounds good. No, but yeah. And what was also interesting was all the comments. So I got the news about the FINA thing on TikTok, and everyone yeah. I don't know how I missed it on any other platform. Twitter. See, and it wasn't even on Instagram either. Granted, I don't follow FINA on Instagram, but like I would have figured that like SwimSwam News makes a comment. For those who don't know, SwimSwam is basically like the swimming magazine for everything. I mean, it's cover
like the New York Times of swim world.
Yeah, they cover. I'm pretty sure they cover some diving, but not as much. It's definitely more swimming.
It's more in depth into swimming. Like they'll mention us and stuff if something like big happens, but usually it's swimming focused.
Yeah, and so they're the ones that follow the results from all the major meets, especially the collegiate championship meets.
Yeah,
like they're breaking down every single Power 5 conference meet by the night. But anyway, I didn't see anything that they mentioned on here. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, what I was going back to was the TikTok. All the comments on the TikTok were in agreement with the ban, essentially saying that by banning transgender athletes, it will help keep the integrity of the separation of like keep the integrity of the purpose of separating men and women in competition. Because I understand from what I understand is that most in previous policies, transgender athletes had to take hormone suppressants to reduce the testosterone levels to a certain level before they were allowed to compete. And so they had that, but obviously I guess it didn't do
weren't those levels still higher than like what, like if let's say we took testosterone, those levels are still higher than if we took testosterone. I don't know where I'm trying to work. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. So like even though they took the testosterone suppressants, it's still higher than what the testosterone level would be found in a female that was born female.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so then like solely coming from the perspective like of a swimmer and seeing the difference between male and female swimmers, like male swimmers are just so much bigger physiologically. Like they have the lung capacity, they have the strength, they have the muscle mass,
they have the shoulders.
I mean, like even just like the size and like looking at the differences between a male and a female.
Yeah, I'm intimidated.
Not gonna lie, swimming with male swimmers after not doing it every day is very scary. But I mean, there is like a definite difference between the two and a definite difference between the capabilities. And I mean, that's not to say that female swimmers are nowhere near as talented as male swimmers. I mean, like female swimmers, they go insane times, and like there are instances where female swimmers are putting up faster times than male swimmers all the time. But like if you just look at the general trend and the general differences, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to take a step back because I don't know a lot on this topic.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of just letting you take the reins.
Oh, yes.
So that's
But
why
yeah.
I'm just sitting back and listening.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So that's the big news going on. And I mean, I'm just very surprised at how, what's the word? Like
direct.
It
how
was.
hard cut of a line it was.
Yes. And I think nowadays, I think that's kind of like what we need as we go more in depth, or as we discover that there are problems when it comes to defining, I don't want to say problems, but like as the definition of male and female get more fluid.
Yeah.
That we kind of need these hard line definitions, or I don't want to say bans, or like, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
restrictions?
Procedures, restrictions, codes, laws, something that just like explicitly says like, okay, this is how it is. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
And so
did they, you said they, before the age of 12.
Yes.
So are they trying to cut it off before puberty?
I believe so. Yeah. I think that would be the intention.
Okay. Because that's when biological males get the most increase in muscle mass, and they get those lungs and
right, and they start to kind of like diverge from the physiology of like girls.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. And so,
yeah. I just read that, like, I just saw it on Twitter, and I was like, wow, like, just I didn't think it'd be, like you said, such a hard cut line. Like, I thought there'd be like some leeway, or like you can compete in your own league, or not league, but like category. Because I know this is a hard subject to like make a decision on, because in whatever decision you make, there's not everybody's going to be happy.
Right.
And so this is like going to be a hard decision to make. But I don't know. I just didn't know what they were gonna decide. Wow, I could not spit that out.
Yeah. And so then I mean, like, I guess you kind of just have to take a step back and look at what the original purpose was in separating men from women when it comes to competition in sports. And so like if you take and like if you refer back to that original purpose, if the purpose is still the same, then that means that transgenders would have to be put into their own category, because like they are different. Like it's just different.
But then it comes to up for debate, if they did get put in a category, would you have males that transition into females in one category and females that transition to males in another, or would you have them all in one?
That's a good point. Because if you look at it, a female transitioning into a male would be nowhere near be nowhere near what a like male who did not transition be like. Whereas like the female the male that transitioned into a female would be multiple steps higher than a female that did not transition.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's why it was such a hard cut line, because the
transitions aren't equal.
Yeah, but then if they made their own category, they'd have to make more than one decision. So they'd be like, okay, I decided that they can compete. It just can't be in male or female, like biological male or biological female races. So if they said they can compete, but then the people would be like, okay, so are they competing all as one, or are they competing separately?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's just
yeah. No, and like I don't know, being able to have these conversations, I think, is very important, to just like kind of take a step back and look at each possible factor.
And I'm just like, I'm like brainstorming. I'm not trying to
of course
degrade the situation. I don't know if that's the right term. But...
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's like when you go into a conversation like this with like the wrong intentions, I think it's easy to do that. But if you go into it with the right intentions of just being able to look at the problem from an objective standpoint.
Yeah, just look at the big picture.
Then I don't know. I guess I would have to agree with the decision that FINA has made when you look at trying to keep the integrity of the original purpose.
Yeah.
Of making the playing field even.
So now that the NCAA has come, not NCAA, now that FINA has come out with this, does this trickle down into USA Swimming, into NCAA, into like club swimming, or does each federation, is that the right word? Federation?
Yeah.
Do they have to make their own decisions, or does what FINA say is that the final say?
I would have to imagine that the influence would trickle down, because ultimately the goal of all these organizations, USA Swimming and NCAA's, is being able to compete at the highest level possible.
Yeah.
The highest level possible is controlled by FINA.
So are they allowed to compete in the Olympics, or no? Is that completely separate?
No. So no, they're not, because FINA controls the Olympics.
So that's a huge deal then.
Yeah.
So it's just like pretty much like you said, the influence will be most likely top to bottom. We'll probably start seeing more of that.
Yes.
Okay. Pat. Thanks for listening, Pat. Our assistant coach, Patrick Rowan, just texted me and he said they're creating an open category for transgender athletes who don't meet the men's and women's eligibility standards. And it's also for water polo diving, artistic swimming, and open water swimming and high diving.
Ooh.
So they did do another category.
Okay. So that's interesting.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. So then I would be really interested to see what that category looks like in terms of like the competition level, and like what
it's intriguing.
Yeah, like what times are they going to be putting up, like what scores? I don't know. I think it'll just be very interesting to see what the human body can do.
Do you think down the road there'll be, like Harrison just asked about the Olympics. Do you think down the road there'll be an open division in the Olympics?
Totally. I mean, I can definitely see them doing it. I mean, like, that's kind of what they did with the Paralympics, is when you look at creating just like a different category for people to race in.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. And I mean, the Paralympics is super cool to see. Again, like what I said earlier, like what the human body can do, and in different, and I don't want to say scenarios, but like as different, like, what am I trying to say here? Unique people, like what unique people can do, and like how far can they go?
Yeah, that'll be cool to see.
Yeah,
I wonder how far down the road it'll be. Obviously, in our life, for sure in our lifetime.
Oh,
we're living through so many firsts, man.
So many firsts.
So many.
Yeah. And so this statement actually comes out at a perfect time, because for one of the assignments in my communication classes is to write an essay about an organization that is enduring a social change, and how that organization communicates that, and then also what the implications are of that social change in terms of their effectiveness in reaching their own goals.
Yeah.
So like in this specific example, it would be how this statement affects the FINA's ability to be able to properly regulate water sports.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's perfect for you to write about, because I don't know about you, but I always had such a tough time writing about stuff that I did not care about. Like in high school, having to write essays over books that were so boring. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
But like this, like you actually have like a firsthand perspective.
Yeah. From your seat.
Yeah, of what's happening.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you just look at the amount of like, I don't mean to say this with like a negative connotation, but like the amount of commotion that happened just at NCAA's because there wasn't a very explicit policy concerning this problem. And we saw how much, I don't want to say like attention got taken away from like from some of the swims that did happen, but like I don't know. It just seemed like whichever way you look at it, it's a very prominent problem that needs to be that needs to be kind of addressed, or at least have conversations about. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to articulate my words because there's just so many ideas.
So many thoughts running through my brain.
Yeah.
Just like trying to picture every scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And like trying to, like, I understand that I'm not going to understand where Leah Thomas is coming from. Like, I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you have to try to see like her perspective on it too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just like taking everything with like a grain of salt and just trying to brainstorm just everything and trying not to like hone in on one idea specifically.
Yeah, like creating the best possible solution for all situations. Like, that's a daunting task.
Yeah, that's a difficult decision.
Yes. But it can be done, I think. I think that we can definitely come to a very good compromise or solution. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
With that, we are going to take it to a break. I'm Reagan Hinze with Madesyn Ronquillo on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the weekend. Do you know where your kids are? The dangers of alcohol, marijuana, and other controlled substances are bad enough. They become even worse when teens get behind the wheel or catch a ride with an impaired driver. Parents, it's time to start what could be a life-saving conversation with your kids about the dangers of underage drinking and drug use. Learn more at coalitionrx.org. Paid for by federal grant dollars through Nebraska DHHS and Region 6 Behavioral Healthcare. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. Are you or someone you love at risk of an opioid overdose? Get the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Opie Rescue can guide you through the steps of how to respond to an opioid overdose. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue today.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Let's do it. Let's get away. Let's go outside, cast a line, and reel in good times with our family and friends. Get a little peace, quiet, and relaxation, and make some memories that will last a lifetime. Let's do it. Let's Fish Nebraska. Start planning your fishing trip today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Snarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back to the deep end with Reagan and Madesyn on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Take it a sin. Now?
Now.
Now. Okay, welcome back to the deep end on the Ticket, 93.7 FM. If you'd like to call in, we have the Honda of Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685. Or if you want to text in, we have the starter Hammond line at the same number at 402-464-5685. If you'd like to see our beautiful faces, we're currently streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and
starts with a Y.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. We can start alternating.
Okay.
So it won't be one specific person's.
Okay. Was that slower that time?
Yes. You didn't talk like you were given a speech.
Oh, perfect. Oh my gosh. Speaking of speech, you should have seen all the videos it took for me to record my speech for communication.
I heard so many of them.
You heard them. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I was in the kitchen and I was just hearing, I was like, oh, maybe she's on the phone with her parents or something. And then it was like, so like you sounded like you had like time marks. And I was like, this is not a free flowing conversation with her parents. Also, I cannot, she is the only one talking.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. Okay, so what I've discovered is that when it comes to speaking, I guess this is a good thing to have. Like, I don't say like or like when you don't know what to say next.
That's good.
I just go completely blank
I
and I
freeze.
just stop talking and freeze. And so like I'll be talking and I would literally just be like, the overproduction within the fashion industry is wreaking havoc on the
just freeze and stop recording.
Stop recording. And I couldn't get past like the first 5 seconds for the first 20 tries that it took. And so
yeah, I'd just be eating dinner and I'd be hearing your speech and I'm like, oh yay. But because a lot of people like to like ramble and just like talk as fast as they possibly can. And so you'll have a 5-minute speech prepared because it's supposed to be 5 minutes and it turns into 3.5 minutes and you're like, what? That's all I got for you today, folks. It's supposed to be a minute and a half longer, but I don't know where that went. So
enjoy the time.
I'm gonna head out now.
Goodbye. Yeah.
How long did it take you?
Well, I tried the first night and then I eventually gave up and I had to go to bed because I was like, this is not going anywhere. And then I did it the next day, but I was on a bit of more of a time crunch because it was due that night. So I think that helped me kind of get in the mode and get it right on the first try.
You got it right on the first try?
No, the first 30th try. But it was a lot fewer tries than the night before.
That's good.
Yeah.
Was the tornado warning last week?
Oh my gosh, it was. We had a slumber party in my basement.
Woo!
It was so fun. Oh, it was actually kind of scary though because I was sleeping in bed. I had already heard the tornado siren go off, but then all of a sudden I see like iPhone flashlights from the bottom, like the crack in the bottom of my door, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this? But then I hear you and Luciana being like, oh, I wonder if she's awake or not. And then I came outside.
And you're like, yeah, I'm here.
How late did you guys like stay up or like why?
I waited till the warning passed. Okay. Just because y'all wake up so much earlier than I have to. So I was like, I'm going to my room.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do because I'm from like southeast Texas where we have hurricanes. We don't have tornadoes. And so I literally put my phone down to go to sleep and not even 2 minutes later it was like, ah! And I was like, is this an Amber Alert or something? Like, what is happening? And I was like, tornado warning. And I was like, oh, okay. Go back to bed. And then I heard the sirens and I was like, does that mean it's serious? I don't really know what to do.
Is this legit?
And Molly was like, yeah, that means they spotted one. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go downstairs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a wild experience.
Wild. Did you go down into your basement?
No, I waited for it. They sounded it off. There wasn't one in the air, but it was just high probability. So that's what it was. Just kind of like, wake up, everyone. It might hit the fan here. So no, I stayed up and watched it. Waited for the sirens to go off. Pretty much the same thing. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy storm though.
I thought there was one, because Ellie, one of the incoming freshmen for us, lives in Seward, and
They got hail. Did they get a tornado touchdown over there?
I don't know. I don't like all of their windows are destroyed. Like
I know
their paint was ripped off their house. Like some of their cars are totaled, stuff like that.
I know they had golf ball size hail that was ripping off siding and breaking windows. Could have just been like crazy hail damage. That'll do it. Hail, golf ball size, coming 50 miles an hour.
Man, we had what did we have here?
We had like
nickel size for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it was so loud on the roof. I was like, what is happening?
Oh yeah, my window is right next to the AC unit, and so every time like a hail hit it, it sounded like it was hitting the window, and I was like, oh my gosh, this window's gonna break. It's gonna burst through. My bed is going to get all wet. What am I going to do? We call John at like midnight. John is our landlord. I'm gonna be like, John, we have a problem.
My window is broken.
My window is broken. I can feel the wind in my bedroom. I don't think that's right. No, but I told Caitlin, I was like, the next time we see a tornado or like super cool lightning clouds, I say we just drive straight toward it.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I want to see a tornado with my bare eyes.
I'm scared.
Todd Cruz said Beatrice had 5-inch hail. I'm assuming he means diameter, or no, 5 inches of hail. A lot of hail, I guess, in Beatrice.
Wow.
I'm going to take that as a lot of hail. I'm not sure if he's talking diameter or just like total accumulation. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was worse further up north you got, like more towards Omaha, Seward, like you were saying. But we've been getting kind of lucky. Haven't gotten hit by hail too bad yet.
Yeah. Well, the ironic thing is, that night, like the sunset, so many people were posting like, oh my gosh, the clouds look so cool.
Oh, he's Todd Cruz said diameter. So holy smokes.
Oh my goodness.
That's
about a half foot of hail.
That sounds scary.
Oh man, I'd get knocked out. I'd be like, see ya. Oh my god.
I could not imagine what that like must have sounded like.
I'd be so scared.
Man, Nebraska weather never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah.
Will I ever get used to it?
No.
No.
It always keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Like it's 100 degrees outside right now. Well, not right now, but like today it was.
Yes. Just dripping sweat in my car with the AC blowing on me. And good thing I'm a swimmer.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about sweating.
All right.
On that note,
with the sweating note, we're gonna end it there. I'm Reagan Hinze with Madesyn Ronquillo on the deep end on 93.7 The Ticket, and we will see you next week.
Can I go to the sleepover?